computational, no question will be asked that where do you see yourself in the next 5 years. If you have a clear picture, if you have a clear mindset, fresher. Once we were also freshers, right? So that is something which it will be very close to our heart. I always tend to help them. Timing plays a very important role. No matter how skilled a person is, no matter how confident a resource is, if time and luck, right, these are major factors. No matter how many people deny this, communication is something which is very important in today's when there is a lot of competition.
Hello everyone, I am Azazul Haque and I am Senior Application Engineer. And today we have invited Mohammad Fardeen, who is Technical Advisor at Tech System. And we have asked multiple questions related to interviews. Like how tell me about yourself is a very crucial question for an interview. What is the most rewarding and frustrating part of his job? How AI is shaping the job market and how the fresher should look into it in 2026. Hello, Fardeen. I am Azaz. I called you regarding this podcast. Are you looking for one?
Oh, oh, nice one, Azaz. This is my dialogue,
Yeah,
right? Which you are telling. Yes. Well, hi. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. So we'll start with your brief introduction. Can you briefly explain about yourself?
Oh, I mean, Monday to Friday, I'll be very professional. So I'll act. I mean, I think we'll continue the same here as well
Yeah.
because again, it's a discussion with the HR, right? So yes, my name is Mohammed Fardeen Hussain. I'm working as an HR from the past 3 years now. Um, Speaking about my personal life, I am born and brought up in Bangalore. I stay in Bangalore along with my family in the south Bangalore. Yes, it's been 3 years that I'm doing um, end-to-end recruitment. Interacting with candidates on a daily basis, talking, meeting a lot of people who are wanting to excel in their careers, who are looking out for a change, meeting them, helping them, listening to their concerns, queries, sorting them out, seeing or setting high aspiration goals and values in their career path. That's where, my role has come into picture, and I am doing this successfully from the past 3 years. And I have learned a few things, and there is more things to do, learn, and contribute to the well-being of people and for humans. That is what my job stands for: human resources.
How your daily job look like?
Again, my job again revolves around 8 hours of working, wherein we come around in the morning itself. Again, it's the same. We have a morning meeting wherein we just discuss about the day to day, what was the progress from the previous day, where are inset for the candidate who needs to get onboarded, how about the interviews that are going in, what's the pipeline looking like. So for us as an HR, my pipeline is nothing but the set of candidates who are there in run, and who are there to join that specific role, whether it's a fresh role or it's a replacement role. That is what I call as a pipeline. That the
Okay.
set of pipeline. Yes, we do have a meeting where we discuss about them. That what is the set procedure, and the same thing over. We discuss not just about myself but everyone, whoever is there in the team. It's a collated one. Then again, around 11 or something, I start my day, where again the best thing I told you about, where wherein I'm speaking to fresh minds, where I'm speaking to a lot of new individuals, irrespective of their experience. Someone with 3 years of experience. Sometimes it's gonna be a fresher. Sometimes it's gonna be a lead who is having around 20 years of experience. Learning, growing, interacting with them, meaning meaningful connections is what I believe in.
Okay. Yep. So how the basic question like tell me about yourself
Mm,
should be answered
mm.
so that interviewer will know about you and your.
Tell me about yourself is very important question. I won't deny that, because it's one such question which is same across the globe, right? The first most thing that a person is asking you, whether it can be a lead manager or it can be a first round interview question, or irrespective of the level of the interview, this question is gonna remain the same. Wherein I would, as you know, this podcast is for the candidates or whoever is watching. It will be an insightful for them, right? I would specifically tell that about the question, that is, tell me about yourself. It needs to be answered in a very precise manner. The respectful of or the perfect timeline for this question should be somewhere around 30 seconds to 45 seconds. It shouldn't exceed. It should be prepared. It should not be prepared, but at least you should be focused of what the points I'm going to add now. If he or she is specifically, sticking towards this, it would be a very positive impact. Again, the first question of the interview will, decide if you have the potential to clear it or not, right? So if you're answering it in a very good manner, half of the interview you have won it there itself, right? So maybe I would again, specify this, that introduce about yourself should not exceed more than 30 seconds, because a lot of candidates tend to take 1 2 minutes of their time in answering this short question, and it shouldn't be like that. It should be, so basically this question should be something like, it should be like a movie trailer. It shouldn't sound like a biography. It shouldn't sound like a biopic. You shouldn't tell that, hey, I was born there, or my grandmom is from there. That and all is irrelevant. The major thing, it should be as short as crisp, because the hiring manager is looking out for what kind of a person you are. Just mention two good skills which are exceptionally good, two core skills, and where you have utilized it. And the last thing before they conclude, that how this role that they are interviewing for, how will it impact them, and what what they want to learn from it. And that is because there is a reason, right, that they are interviewing this for. So it should be very clear about who they are. Again, it can include where are they from, where do they stay. That's it. And then about their core skills, core technical skills, which is again a very important part of this interview. And concluding it by saying that what do they need from this and how they have prepared themselves, so that the interviewer who is sitting in front of you can get an perfect picture that, okay, this candidate is suitable because he has this and this, and he is focused. Like, he knows where he has to be in the next couple of years. Additional no question will be asked that, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? If you have a clear picture, if you have a clear mindset in the first question itself, right? There won't be additional, because the more additional question comes, because your answers are very, scrambled. It's not on point. Again, concluding by saying that, keep it like a movie trailer. Don't make it look like a biography. Okay. Okay. Now coming back to you, what is the most frustrating part of your job, but still the most rewarding part? See, again, the bad, worst. What did you did speak about the worst, bad parts about my job? Means like that is most frustrating, but most still the most rewarding. Okay. See, most frustrating would be again, candidates turning up for interview in the first, second, all the rounds of interview, and at end, just a night before the joining, they don't turn up. They ghost you. Basically, they ghost you, right? When they are not answering your calls, or they are not seeing your WhatsApp text. Because I would still appreciate if a candidate, comes and tells me that he or she is not interested or inclined towards this opportunity, because they might have got something else, or they might have got retained in the initial step, like maybe during the first round, second round, not after the offer letter is. That is something which I would say that it is not so good thing. Again, one more thing. Forget about the offer drops. Um, the second most frustrating thing is, candidate is all set. Night before, 1 day back, 2 day back, they are all set. And half an hour before the interview, they drop in a mail that they have got some medical emergency. This has become like the go-to statement of any candidate who is either not prepared for the interview or who has just got panicked about the interview. And you know how they tend to shape it up. They just tell,
Before the interview.
yes, just half an hour before the interview, they drop in a WhatsApp text or a mail stating that, hey, I have got some medical emergency. How can a fit person get sudden medical emergency? That is also, it's in air. See, I am an HR professional. Along with that, I'm a talent advisor. I also, I can advise certain people, right? Not certain, anyone irrespective of their experience, I can, right? In case if the person is being honest and telling that, hey, I'm feeling that I'm not much prepared, or, I'm feeling a little, overwhelmed before taking this interview, I can calm them down if they be honest. And this is what I have done as well. I'll come to this later, but yes, candidate should be real of whatever the reason is for them to not take this interview, and just not throw the reasons in air stating that they have got some medical emergency. I can still understand, if there is something specific, if there is a power cut, right? We understand, we are humans. It happens in our city, right? Where there are candidates who even take interviews from hometowns, right? You don't know what time does the power exist or not. It is justified, but half an hour before coming and staying just because of either they are not prepared or they just want to keep on rescheduling, because again that's not an ideal experience for the managers as well, right? I will add on to this by telling a recent incident that happened. One of the hiring managers, so basically we all know, right, it's hybrid work mode everywhere. And specific to interviews, when the hiring managers are visiting office all 5 days, the reason is simple. They are just coming there to take this interview, right? And at the last minute, when the candidates, doesn't show up, it will be a lot of frustrating, right? For the hiring manager and for me also, because I'm the one who is informing, he or she, because it might come up to like, hey, the only reason that I, visited office today, that this candidate was supposed to come. And we all know how Bangalore's traffic is, right? Even if it is 5 kilometers, 6 kilometers, it might take 1 hour. Anyone will get frustrated. So I think that is a very frustrating thing, that candidates, if they are interested or not, they should tell us or they should inform us in prayer, rather than making us wait for until end. That is not something which is suitable or appreciative. Again, something that I like about this job, uh, when candidates who interviewed, who got selected, who joined, because this job is not just about filling roles. It is about impacting lives by investing in right people. Again, it depends. Sometimes you invest a lot in people, and you don't get anything in return. Return as in they won't join. They'll just take all, maybe an offer letter from you to offer shop. But for those real people, right, who really trust on you, who will stick with you no matter what, basically who will be highly committed, um, in your opportunity. No matter you have released an offer 1 month back or 2 months back, they'll still stick with you, right? And there are few people who you have given a date of joining just a week later, still they won't join. But for the people who have trust, who have that commitment, it goes hand in hand, because I know this person is reliable, and to impact his or her life would be my primary goal. Because again, HR's role is not just to fill the job, but to have an impact on someone's life, someone's family. Because again, we all work for our families, and uh, that's how I think that part would be very, very special. If I have to elaborate, right, I'll just give a few examples of the candidates who I have placed. There was one such candidate who is from Kolkata, right? So we placed him last year, and he had been to his hometown for some festival, and while returning back from his hometown, he calls me up and he tells that, "Hey, I'm returning back from my hometown. My hometown is famous for sweets, desserts. Which one do you want?" And that was not expected, right? Because I will also consider my job to be a very selfless job. We do it, we do it because that's our job, right? Without expecting anything in return. But when the sweet gestures happened from the candidate who is traveling from his hometown again for this same job, right? But he's calling, connecting with you and telling that, I'm coming back from my hometown. Let me know which sweet do you like, or shall I bring from my idea of which one would be the best. So he got it as soon as he landed at airport, and even before he went to his home, right? He did it done to me. I am sitting at my home, and again traffic happened. By the time he reached his home, this delivery
Sweets.
box, yes, sweets reached my home. Um, Again, very sweet gesture. Because we don't expect anything, and when such small things happen, it really touches your heart that how you have impacted someone's life, right? It is again on their families, and a lot of candidates have even told that their families know about me. Yeah, so that's kind of relationship we built. And people again consider this to be a boring job, but no, it's not. It's the most um happiness filled job. Your soul will be happy, right? Because at end of the day, when we are going back to bed, it's this kind of feeling that will make you feel, make you sleep peacefully, right? Again, there are a lot of incidents as such. If you want, I'll include more. But yes, this was one sweet gesture. This is a very selfless job wherein you are doing it to contribute to others, to
And that's
make their life settled with no hope of any return or anything. It's your job.
it's frustrating to rewarding
It's
part still
yeah.
the same. Sometimes it's frustrating, and
Sometimes
most of the
yes.
time it's
Yeah,
rewarding.
correct. And sometimes when you have done X plus Y to one person, but still you don't get the same output, you will be like, yeah, I have done so much. I have invested my time, energy, but ultimately they don't turn up, or whatever the reason is. It's your effort. It has gone in vain. But again, what you learn, it's a lesson, right, of how to deal with people, different sort of people. Again, like I mentioned, it's irrespective of their experiences. It is. I have just 3 years of experience, but I do interact with 13, 14 years. But I don't let them believe or get an idea that I am a junior resource. That's again one of the quality of this role, that it is very professional. No matter I have a 10 years resource in front of me, I have a technical lead in front of me, I still have to act very professional. And I shouldn't let he or she know that he's a junior person in the entire team or something. No, it's a very professional, irrespective of the hierarchy. You have to act very you have to act very matured, or you have to look, or have that kind of aura in your role. Again, because this role will again take you to a set of leadership, right? So you have, it's again learning, everyday learning, getting better, taking experiences from both good and bad experiences, and going with the flow, making it good for both me and whoever I'm dealing with.
So here comes the question for freshers. Every year there are freshers job market opening. Still lot of fresher faces issues. Why so? Adding to it,
Mm.
how do you see 2026 for freshers?
So, well, fresher. Once we were also freshers, right? So that is something which it will be very close to our heart. I always tend to help them, irrespective of whether there is an opening in my organization or if I can help them through my network, right? The first most thing for every fresher to understand today, because this I'm telling from my experience also, I was hired through referral. M- Make a key point. Referral is the source, or referral is something that can land up in your first job. It is very important. If I see back 3 years back, when I was randomly applying for job opportunities, job openings, right? Uh, I don't think I would have landed up in my job because hundreds of people apply for jobs. 100 is still a small number that I'm telling, for all the LinkedIn job applications that I go through in the back end. There are more than 5,000 people applying for a job, for a fresher job. Again, because we are in one such country where there are lot of people, lot of graduates graduating every year. Some are graduating with a bachelor's degree, some are graduating with a master's degree. But it's not enough if you're just applying a job on Naukri or on LinkedIn. It's not enough. Your first kickstart should be to referral. And how do you do it? It can't be happening by you just sitting in college, right? There were a lot of at least now in 2026 there are students who have started or created their page on LinkedIn. Back then, when I was still in college, there were hardly 1 2 people who knew what LinkedIn is about. It is very important for us to make the candidates or educate the candidates about the importance of LinkedIn, about the importance of resume, because again, resume is something which is important. Many of our people are still lacking behind in creating one. There will be one such student in the entire classroom of maybe around 50, 60, 70 people. There will be just one person who will help and who is educated enough as in he must have his elder siblings who are working in corporate or anywhere else, who knows how a resume should look like, and he or she will be the only one who will help the entire class to make the resume. Making resume is just part of it. How will it impact the referral? And how will you do it? By having a public platform, by using a public platform that is LinkedIn, connecting with various resources, connecting maybe with HRs. If I'm specifically talking about some tech role, right? Maybe they can connect with some HR from a company that they desire to work, right? Or again, for example, some software engineer who has joined maybe 1 2 years back in the same organization. Maybe they can connect with him for a reference. Even if there's a second company or third company, he can utilize his connections which were from his first organization, second organization, because if we are just depending about if we are just depending on the placement committee, right, in college, it's not gonna help any fresher out there, because placement committee just it is there. Again, it doesn't assure you that it will place you. People who are still in college, right, they are still dependent on the placement committee. That hey, no, I have paid certain lakhs of fees. These people will place me. It's not their duty. It's just a committee which has to exist for their college reputation to look good. It doesn't assure you a job, right? Because if I still categorize, right, candidates who have graduated from 2023, 2024 are still reaching out now. It's high time, right? And people who are above, who got just graduated in 25 or 26, still in assumptions that hey, one such fine day on a blue moon, my college placement committee officer will call me, okay, and he will all of a sudden give me a job offer, which is which looks only real in our dreamy world. So connections, referrals are something that they have to impact, right? Referral can be generated by any source. It's just that you need to know or have that communication. Communication skills are priority, whether it's an experienced person or whether it's a fresher, whether he's looking out for a technical role or whether he's or she is looking out for a non-tech role. Communication is the key for him or her to grab that one role. Yes, one opportunity. Again, there are a lot of candidates who I'm still in touch, who are freshers. I am helping and supporting them to get interviews, to prepare them for interviews. There is one candidate who is sitting in Mumbai. There is one such candidate who is sitting in West Bengal. There is one in Punjab. This doesn't come in my day to day responsibility. I don't have, because I have a certain positions that I'm working on, or I have to work for that, work for my company basically. And again, the market is more for experience than for freshers, right? But irrespective of that, because like I said, right, I also started as a fresher. You also started as a fresher. So out of that, helping nature, I still communicate with them. I still prepare them, help them make resumes, provide them with sample resumes, um, irrespective of wherever they are in India. I never, deny to that fact that I also was a fresher once. I was placed in this opportunity through a referral. So I think that is one of the most powerful um, site that anyone can impact. Again, it's not specific for freshers, even the experienced folks, right? Who I was maybe in connect with around, because again, experienced people comes with notice period, and for immediate such requirements, I cannot place, right? But having your own network, having your own people who you can reach out to maybe after 2 months, or someone is serving, suppose today is 1st of Feb, someone has started serving today, and his or her notice period will come to an end in the month of June, or in April or May. I'm adding them to my network, right? That's another way of generating referrals. Being in touch with so and so person it is. No matter you don't have that desired opening for them today, but that won't remain constant for the next 2 months, right? Job market is changing every day. If you're having meaningful connections, and if that meaningful connection has your resume on top of his WhatsApp chat pinned, immediately as soon as that job opening comes, he can help you get a referral there immediately. With one such click, you can get an interview schedule, and for immediately after interview schedule, maybe you can clear and you can get that opportunity. Just because today there is not any opening, it doesn't mean that connection will be of no value. That is very important, which today's freshers need to understand. Stop depending upon college, or people who just got placed, because again on facts I'm telling, even from a tier 1 or tier 1, again it's different, right? But again, from tier 2 or tier 3 colleges as well, 100, there is nowhere that there are chances of 100% joining ratio, or not joining ratio, 100% that they get placement. It's nowhere. It's fact that just 50 to 60% of the college students get placed. Even this is more compared to I mean, this is more 50-60 is what I'm telling, because last year market was still evolving. It was still okay. This year, as you mentioned, how 2026 is gonna impact freshers' job. It is completely uh, different, because in market, what is happening today is colleges doesn't teach you what the job requires. So there is a huge gap in the skill set. What they are taught in school or in college, it is just theoretical knowledge. Hiring manager or the clients or the companies don't require the theoretical knowledge. They will just ask, do you have hands on it? With this, I'll add on a very good example. This is an experience that I have seen in my 3 years of career, that 2023 when I joined, right? In the same year, Golang was going on boom, right? And me in my company, we does it. We hire a lot of freshers, again from various resources. They can be from, the coaching companies, coaching companies, or for example, some might be from college placements, or majorly will be from reference. Again, we hired around 30 candidates, 30 such candidates. We trained them for around 3 months. That was for 90 days. Although we had job openings for 20, we did train 30 people. To place them with multiple clients of ours. Golang was one such at that time skill that was growing. Out of those 30 candidates, 25 we were successfully able to place at that time. 2024 again, same thing happened, but the skill set was different here. They were more in the projects that came to us was requiring Python as the language. Again, we hired from various sources, coaching centers, placement committees, referrals. And, we found around 30 candidates. We trained them and then we deployed them with another client of ours. 2025, again, the same thing repeated. Again, the skill set was different. It was .NET this time. Um, Wherein, again, same number we hired and we deployed them with our clients. This year, now those candidates who we placed in 2020, majority of them resigned again for career growth. Different reasons. Yes, different reason they resigned. The same people who we placed in 2023. Today we are standing on 1st of Feb 2026, right? When we approached the same hiring manager who took these people, these freshers, trained freshers, in back then 3 years back, he denied to take the next set of freshers. The reason being, this is a true thing that same manager who was okay for a candidate with skill set X doesn't need it anymore. He clearly said that, hey, I don't want an X candidate. If you can give me something which is X plus Y. And why was never there back then? Why was generated while he was working in the company, right? He learned it eventually. It was not that he was born with Y and we just trained him with X and we placed him. No. So it has become very difficult because the same pattern which was okay 3 years back is no more applicable because the managers or whoever is hiring these days wants X plus Y. Y is nothing but the hands-on skills with one which one candidates get while he works on the actual project, not in the project, not in the so-called project of the college, right? So the expectations have grown due to which freshers are facing, challenges in getting. It's not that they are not ready for it, but the sense of clarity is also missing because they are not clear. Their communication is good. Everything is, but they are not ready for the market, right? Because again, our colleges don't teach that, right? And like, if this mindset continues, it might get difficult because every time producing an X plus Y would also be a challenge for me as an HR, right? Because I can give them training. I can, put them for an learning and training, campaign for the next 3 months or something, and I can get them trained. But the hands-on skill is something that is difficult for us also, to find. Um, that is the only reason it is getting challenging for a fresher to get a job in 2026. But I'm not predicting anything. Like I told you, job market is keep on changing every day. You have to utilize your connection. Today, that connection A might tell, hey, there is no opening in my company. But if you were warm enough, right, with that person, he might have your resume in his inbox. And as soon as he gets an opening, you will be the first person in his mind and he will help you in a referral, right? Things change immediately. Maybe today it is not the same. Job market changes every day and they might land up in something very good because I am a firm believer of time. timing plays a very important role. No matter how skilled a person is, no matter how confident a resource is, if time and luck, right, these are major factor. No matter how many people deny this, but luck and timing plays a very brutal role in hiring. I'll give a small example. There was one candidate who was technically very good. Very good as in, again, 10 on 10? Yes, 10 on 10. Okay. Both in all the sorts of evaluation, in the 2 or 3 rounds of interview that he took also, right? Whether it was online or offline interview, he was excellent. But then things happened. When, he got selected, immediately the next day, the client told this position is on hold. He was I'm talking about irrespective of the experience. This happens because here we are talking about the timing and the fate, right? So it matters a lot. 10 on 10 candidate who is good, who is exceptional in communication or in technicality wise, he's exceptional. He calls me and he tells that, hey, Fardeen, the interview went fab. I have given my best. Not to sound overconfident, but he was self confident that he has given his best. Right? Because we get to know that by the way we are communicating in the interview, we'll get to know that yes, he has done it. And immediately the next day, we get a mail from the client side that, hey, please keep this, position or this candidate on hold because we have got some changes in our, budget or whatsoever reason, and that candidate could never get onboarded with us. Even though the wait was 2 weeks, he did his first round, second round, third round. Again, rounds doesn't happen immediately, right? Because everyone, because the panel needs to take time out from their routine, their daily job, exactly, daily job, and then that's when it happens. After 2-3 weeks of investment with us, we had to sadly inform him that that position went on hold, and it couldn't happen. And whereas another situation, another incident wherein a candidate was average, communication was decent enough, but timing was different. Wherein an average candidate, got selected uh, within just one round of interview. In just one round of interview, all the back end activities were done. We got all the approvals from the client side. Everything was done, and he was onboarded within for the same position. I'm talking about the same position which went on hold 2 months back, and in the pipe we had a very extremely good, strong candidate. Things didn't work out for him back then. But again, 2 months back, when the same position came back, right, and wherein this was the person available at that time, and when he interviewed in just one round, they shortlisted. Again, it depends timing, luck, everything because the project demanded this person immediately. So sometimes it's your luck which will get you job. Your skills, your degree will get you, the visibility, or will get you that interview. But getting that job, I am a firm believer that luck is something that is on priority because I see it on a regular basis, right? And we being in backend, we analyze that someone who was 5 on 5, but things didn't look like in the same way for him. But someone who was three and a half on 5, things changed for him. It just makes us believe that no matter how good your skill sets are, um, time plays a very important role in your life. I will come to our last question. How AI is shaping the job market? So AI, right? I will be as neutral as possible because I feel that AI is kind of overhyped. Again, this is my reason. I'm not speaking on behalf of anyone. Is This is what I feel, that it is going over. Okay, there is a lot of people who is telling that AI is taking human jobs. One thing I'll be very loud and clear with: AI is not going to touch any human related jobs. Yes, AI will replace the repetitive task, but it cannot replace any human's effort into it, right? If I am doing a same thing from for example, morning 9 to 5, if I'm doing the same repetitive task, yes, any AI or any code can replace me. But if it is involving any strategy or any human mindset, right? I don't think AI is gonna take any such thing. It is just going to impact on the repetitive task, not on the major human task, right? So yes, there were a lot of job roles, that even I'm getting in today's time. In the job description, there is a special, box which mentioned that the candidate needs to have this as an AI, skill set, whether it's be a Gen AI or other AI related skill sets, right? It is coming hand in hand. It's not like AI is something which is not required for your job role. If you have mentioned it in your resume, it's a plus point, because many such companies they have assisted AI to shortlist your resume, right? And if that AI has gotten a keyword, right? Because AI, how does AI work? It doesn't read your entire resume. It will just read this. It will just read those keywords. If those keywords are there in your resume, it will get shortlisted. If it does, if it's not there, then of course, it will be null and void, right? So yes, adding skill set on AI platform, basically you can't just add anything random, right? If you have experience on it, or if you have done anything on AI related platform, you can add it. Again, giving a realistic example, last year, I was hiring for a lot of mobile development roles, both for iOS platform and Android platform. Okay, and in which specific the hiring manager told they want someone who has exposure to AI. And I'll give a realistic example. When initially, even I started to find relevant candidates, first set of interviews happened. Three candidates took the first interview, and the panel asked them, okay, that hey, do you have worked on AI, or do you have any experience on AI? For which this candidate got conscious. How they thought maybe it is playing a negative impact. If they admit it in front of the panel that hey, I have used AI, they thought that what if it will not land me in this job? What if they think that if he is only taking the help of AI, what work will he do? Right? By being in that mindset, all these three candidates told no. Hey, no, I don't know AI. I don't use any AI tool. I do all the development or coding or mm, job in general. I don't take the help of AI. And back to back, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all these three candidates who interviewed got rejected. And one common thing that I noticed, all were asked this question itself, that have you worked on AI? And it turned out to be a rejection. Yes, disaster for them. Again, they blamed themselves that I, although have used AI, but I didn't admit that, thinking that what if it will not let me get this job. Okay, so in that way, all the three told no, because I had spoken to them and I had got the list of questions, that were asked in the interview. The next set of people who interviewed the following week, I told them, "Hey, have you worked on AI?" They told, "Yes, we have worked." And I told them, "Please, when the panel asks you, have you used AI? Do mention yes, and what specifically you have used in AI." So one such, very confident, or very strong technical candidate, how he answered this question was, "Yes, I have used AI to increase my efficiency and to reduce the time," which is a very good answer, right? And the panel was quite impressed, and the first candidate who got selected was him, because he didn't thought AI to be his villain or anything. He as a companion. Yes, as a companion, because it AI and human efficiency goes hand in hand today in 2026. Yes, it goes in hand in hand. He just mentioned, he didn't took it as his rival or anything. He told yes, it acts like my best friend, wherein I take help of AI and solve my business challenge or whatever it is, which makes my efficiency go higher because a lot of time gets reduced. And immediately, once I got this selection, right, the next set of candidates also I told that found candidates. I didn't just made them assume or something. I found candidates who have mentioned AI in their resume, and all those people who had specifically written about AI in their resume, all of those got selected. And again, everyone's reason was for the same thing, right? To increase the efficiency at work, to reduce the time complexity, right? Because their time is getting utilized more because chat GPT or any AI thing is helping them. So AI and human knowledge should go hand in hand. If they are going, there is nothing to worry about. Yes, every interview is asking AI related question. Many interviews are specific for AI role. If you see, many data related jobs are focusing on AI. Your our normal data analyst or business analyst job, where just a job that can be done by using Power BI or just a normal Excel, they require AI. All the jobs have enhanced themselves. I'll give one more example. Earlier, we know the skill set, right? Quality analyst. It's nothing but a software testing job. But in today's time, hiring manager doesn't want someone who just know code, who just know testing. He wants an SDET for that. Software development engineer in test, which nothing means he is doing testing. But along with that, in case if there are things required for him to code, he should be self efficient to do it, but to do it by himself. This is one such field where the more, no matter if you have graduated 4 years back, 5 years back, still you have to prepare for an interview like it's an exam, right? Only who are very conscious and who are working towards it, and working it like like it's an major interview. It's not just who is thinking that it is major interview and who is preparing like it's an exam. Only those people are able to get jobs, and people who are not serious about interviews, who feel like it's just an interview, it's not happening. So you have to be updated, up to date with no matter whatever tech stack you work on, enhancing your skills. Majorly, a key point that I will add on here is communication. Communication is something which is very important in today's time. When there is a lot of competition, there is a coder who is 10 on 10, but he is not able to frame, or he is not able to explain what he has done in his maybe 2 years of experience or 5 years of experience. He is not able to articulate it, he is going reject. But wherein the same person who is good at communication, who can handle um, for example, client escalation, who can work hand in hand with the on-site folks, whose communications are good, who can engage people, the chances of him getting selected are more than a 10 on 10 developer. Communication is very important, both in non-tech jobs. So it is the supreme skill set that one person should have in communication. But because there is a lot of competition now, right? As you're a Java developer, right? There is a competitor sitting in Gujarat who is a competitor to you, right? Someone sitting in Hyderabad is also a competitor. How will they select the best one? Through other soft skills, right? Technicality wise, you all are same, but they'll prefer someone whose soft skills are good, whose attitude is good, who had a very warm, who was very warm throughout the interview, whose communication was good, who they feel like, okay, we can rely upon this resource in our absence. He can handle, no matter if it's an escalation or if it's a major client meet, right? If this person can handle it, his soft skills are good, his communication is good, then It's a cherry on top, because cake cake. I mean, I will refer cake as the coding or DevOps or whatever the technical skills you have. It is nothing but the cake. But what will act as a cherry on top is the way how you are articulating things, the way how you're speaking. Speaking again includes your confidence, the way you speak, um, uh, having a a warm smile on your face while you're answering, or acknowledging whatever it is. You're not just hearing and answering whatever is coming in your mind, but you're acknowledging it. There are a lot of incidents. I'll tell some realistic incidents where major of the tech roles, sometimes there would be a client who is from on-site, who might be from UK or USA or Australia, and our people might feel a little bit difficult in understanding their accent, and they also admit. I mean, they also acknowledge. The people who are the interviewer, right? They will not hesitate to repeat the question because they understand, because our English is way different than what they speak. They're completely okay. If our candidates ask them, hey, can you please repeat the question? I'm not able to understand. This is again a warm gesture, right? Wherein the candidate is admitting that I'm facing this issue. I'm strong at my skill set, but I'm, kind of not able to clearly understand your question. That warm gesture will also add a lot of, rather than if a person is asking you what is your core skills, and if you're without understanding the accent, and if you're just answering, hey, I'm from Bangalore, the person might think he is understanding my question, but he is answering something rubbish. Instead of that, we should admit it, right? That I'm just facing an issue, because they'll be more vocal enough, and then your chances of answering the right answer will go high, right?
Okay.
Instead of looking like a a random person who is answering to whatever they are not asking for. It could be a sweet gesture if you're just going and asking them for, can you please repeat it?
Thank you so much, Fardeen, for coming to our podcast. It was very nice podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me. Well, I have seen your podcast. It does come in my LinkedIn. Every time that you used to upload the reels or whatever, it used to come, and I used to just watch. I never thought I'll be a part of the podcast, but the day also that you texted me that, hey, I want to do a podcast with you. I was like, is it happening in real, or he has sent that same message to someone? Maybe by mistake it has come to me, because I have seen it, right? But coming here, this is podcast that I am also part of. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I'm very grateful for this thing that you have given. Maybe again, year by year we do keep doing this. Yeah, with the market keep changing, technology is changing. So I think podcasts also need to keep getting, yeah,
Yeah.
as in our content
Yeah.
what we are speaking. We have this in next year.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.